This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving Southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Well, come on along and welcome aboard the Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Larry here on this Friday. What is it, December 6th now?
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
Goodness gracious. It's flying. Welcome aboard. We appreciate you joining us. Jim Coyle and Todd Leary here as always. Plenty to talk about today, Todd. Bowl projections, of course, we won't know as much about that until after tomorrow's conference championships, which is also something to talk about. Indiana will be taking on Wisconsin up in Madison tomorrow. You got that to get to. A little NFL action last night. I cannot believe the Cowboys lost to Mitchell Trubisky. That's just
they made him look good.
Man,
he actually looked really good last night.
4 touchdowns.
That's what the Cowboys will do for you.
If you've listened to Bears fans complaining about Trubisky all year, God, Cowboys fans have to be in a complete lockdown right now, mental lockdown.
Yeah, I don't know where you start with the firing and that. I mean, I know you start with the coach and then I've always been a Dak Prescott fan, but I think it's time to. I think he's proved that he's a good quarterback. He's just not going to win in Dallas.
Yeah, not right now at least. But I tell you who is winning: Tom Allen. Tom Allen has agreed to terms of a new 7-year contract with an average annual compensation of $3.9 million.
Oh my! Okay,
that's a $3 million raise. A $3 million raise. He went from being the lowest paid coach in the Big Ten, one of the worst paid coaches in the country, to one that makes Big Ten money now.
Yeah, where is that? Where does that rank? Do you know? Like roughly?
You know what? I'm sure there'll be plenty of things coming out. I mean, this literally just came out.
Yeah, he's proven now that a part of that. I mean, here's kind of the way you look at that. Yes, that seems like a crazy amount of money. But a part
Coach
of
Allen,
that,
can I have a loan?
A part of that, I would say, is probably back pay or back compensation for making so much far less than what he should have been making when you make it relative to the other coaches.
Did you say $3.9 million?
I think that's 3.5.
As of last year, that would be
3.9. No, it is 3.9.
Okay, that would be
2.4 or
11th.
What?
Huh?
That would be 11th in the Big Ten.
You're kidding me.
No way.
No. That would put him above PJ Fleck at $3.6 million.
Who's at Minnesota?
and
his contract will probably go up, and it's behind Lovie Smith at $4 million.
Gee whiz.
Is everybody like relatively close? Like what's run down the list of them? Run down the list of them.
Well, you got Jim Harbaugh that makes $7.5 million. I know that.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh at 7.5, Jeff Brom at 6.6, James Franklin at 5.7, Pat Fitzgerald at 5.1, Scott Frost at $5 million, Kirk Ferentz with 4.8, Ryan Day with 4.5.
That'll go crazy.
Mark D'Antonio with 4.4, Paul Christ with 4.2, then Lovie Smith at $4 million, and then PJ Fleck at 3.6. And then
at least he's in the ballpark of where he should be, and where and that's
that's crazy though. I mean, they could have paid him close to $5 million, and that's probably about where they're going to finish in the ranking of the Big Ten from where he would have been paid. And
the thing is,
sounds crazy.
Here's something for you. That's more than what Archie Miller makes.
Please, somebody don't bring that up to Archie Miller. Let's not get in a contract negotiation battle, please.
I'm just saying. I just think it's kind of funny.
I'm glad you bring it up. That's what we do on here. That's why we bring it up. I would have never in a million years guessed that. But I also never would have guessed that the average, I mean, it sounds like based on what Jake just read off, I mean, the average salary is over $5 million for Big Ten coaches. I would have never guessed that in a million years.
Well, for one thing, people forget the influx of Big Ten network money into the Big Ten has been unbelievable. I mean, you're cashing a check for $50 million every. Now, in Indiana's case, unfortunately, you have our president and Michael McRoberty, who seems to be siphoning off that money because no one knows where that money's going to. They will not. There's been several open records requests made. None have been answered, to my knowledge, to this point. Where the Big Ten money goes at Indiana, it's a big secret right now. Because all this stuff you see being done, the locker rooms, that's all donated money. That's why they have names on them, because those people donate a big chunk of that money.
Well, the locker room, yeah, but the facilities, I mean, that's a brand new baseball facility. That's beautiful. I don't know that was donated.
And what's the name of that baseball facility?
I don't know. What is it?
It's softball is Andy Moore Field, Bart Kaufman Field for baseball. There's a reason.
I mean, you just.
There's a reason they have these names on it.
I agree. Indiana has some of the best facilities. I mean, and you have to in order to recruit.
Actually, they don't. Actually, they're behind in most facilities in the Big Ten. You would be shocked.
Name them.
You mean the individual facility?
Our basketball facilities and our football facilities are up there.
Football, they're catching up. They're still catching up in football. They're one of the few schools that mandates that everyone use the same weight room. Most programs have their football teams have their own weight room. They have all their own stuff, period.
Hang on a minute. You're saying the football program doesn't have its own weight room?
Not here. Not in Indiana.
You sure about that?
1,000%.
I can tell you I never lifted in a weight room with a football player.
Yeah, that was back in 1904.
But I'm just saying they had their own weight room then.
Yeah, it's all changed now.
Huh. Interesting. I mean, I don't know that that's a big deal. If you've got the coolest weight room,
it's not. It's just the point. It's just something I'm pointing out that several of these programs, Northwestern, Purdue, Nebraska, all opening up big time football facilities. Very, very nice football facilities. So I'm not saying it's bad, but everything they're doing is catching up. But when they catch up, they're already behind again from a facility standpoint. But they're getting there. They've got a brand new facility for volleyball and wrestling that's very nice and has gone very well. They're getting ready to rehab Cook Hall. That's how Cook Hall was not even around when you were here, but they're already rehabbing it.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, the basketball facilities are awesome. If you need more than what they have, then there's some problems.
Yeah, exactly. It's an arms race. It's become an arms race.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I get you, but I mean,
anyway,
back to the salaries. I'm shocked that the average salary is that high in Big Ten football.
Yeah, well, football in general across the country, football coaches generally make more money because it generates more income.
Sure, yeah.
In most cases, I mean, look at Jimbo Fisher and his $7.5 million salary at Texas A&M.
Right.
I don't even know what Nick Saban makes. His is like eight or nine. Him and Dabble Sweeney both up there like
Jake,
crazy money.
Jake, what's the average? What conference is Fresno State in?
Like Mountain West or something?
Yeah, look that up and see what the average salary in that conference is, because that might lead into your next bit of news, Jim.
Man, I don't even want to talk about that.
that would be a tough hit.
It's the fear that most people have had, and because Indiana's offense has done so well. When Kalen DeBoer came over, the one thing he had behind him was a long line of success. Right. All he did was succeed. All he did was make teams better. All he did was add points to the bottom line of team scoring. every year, and he did the same thing when he came here to Indiana. And unfortunately, let's hope he's going to be here longer than a year. But apparently, there's a job opening in his old stomping ground out of Fresno State, where he came from. So that'll be interesting because the one thing he's made no bones about is he wants to become a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it's just part of it. It's part of having a successful program, and that's one of the things you deal with. And hopefully he's built enough of a foundation. I mean, we're speculating. That's what we do. I know, but we're kind of speculating early on. We're putting the pieces together of the place he came from. He's had huge success. We know he's going to be sought after. That's part of what you have with a successful program. And
here's the thing. He was a good hire Tom Allen made. The only fear is it's not that Tom Allen can't hire someone else like him if he were to go, because obviously they have the resources. They've shown they will pay for a good assistant coach now, something Indiana hasn't done in the past, but they've shown they'll do that. They as a matter of fact, they opened the checkbook to sign DeBoer. That's how they were able to get him here. Now, the only concern is Tom Allen makes another hire like he did before he hired DeBoer, and what he did with defensive coordinator, hiring someone out of loyalty instead of the right guy for the job. I think that loyalty went more into Kane Womack's hiring than, say, Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer was because he was really, really good at what he does. Kane Womack was more because of who he knew and who he was, I think. So. And that difference showed on the football field this year because the offense was far and away a juggernaut like we expected. The defense, every game they lost, you know exactly why they lost.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the positives of what a guy like DeBoer brings you, and they've built something in 1 year's time that's got a pretty solid foundation, and you would love to see that be able to continue for a couple of seasons. He's a guy, I mean, he's going to be so sought after. If Indiana continues another season like they had this year and the offense gets even better, I mean, he's not going to be around forever. So we understand that. It's almost
Absolutely.
like the one and dones in basketball. He's had a one and done type season. Quite frankly, from the offensive perspective for Indiana football, I mean, he's had a kind of a one-and-done type season. So it wouldn't shock anybody from his perspective. That's his long-term goal. Yeah, that wouldn't be – it would suck because we want him. It would suck – it's like Trace Jackson Davis. It would suck if he left after a year because we want him to stay. But if it's the best decision for him, we're all going to support it because he's a Hoosier.
Yeah, I mean, and I wish him nothing but success, whatever he does.
Yeah, we're sending him off already like he's gone.
Well, you have to decide. However it works out. I mean, it may not be a situation where he likes. It may not be like they may not be in a good position in that conference.
Right. He there may be other things lined up that he's got he may have a 2-year goal that he sees something down the road and he wants to be a SEC coach or a Big Ten coach or something like that. He's going to have those kind of opportunities. So just because this job opened up and that's where he's from, that's where he came from, doesn't necessarily mean it's where he would go. I think he's probably got a little higher long-term goal than that.
Well, and having the success he had in the Big Ten this past season against the helmet teams, as Dustin used yesterday. I love that term. Yep. Against the helmet teams. He did this against Michigan. He did against Ohio State, against Penn State, against Michigan State, against Nebraska. I mean, those are a lot of great names to put on a resume. So, but with that, my point being is you may have the opportunity for a much bigger jump sooner rather than going back out west to a school that people are going to read the score on. Every now and then they'll see the score and that's it. But no interest. Right. He's on TV. He's coaching a team that's on national television or television every week with the BTN. So,
did you find out that number, Jake? Did you find out that conference?
Yeah, it's the Mountain West Conference, and
I was right.
The highest salary is Mike Bobo at I think Colorado State at $1.8 million, and Jeff Tedford, the coach that is leaving Fresno State, is at $1.5 million.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that conference is paying slightly more than what he's making as
Right.
an offensive coordinator. Now, they're not going to be able to match. They're not going to give him a $500,000 raise. I don't think.
I bet they would. They just raised the head coach almost $3 million.
Exactly. So I don't think they're going to pull another million.
You never know. You never know. If it takes that to keep him for another year, to us, yeah.
It would be worth it because
crazy.
let me tell you, it would be more than worth it because next year that football team what you saw this year, they should have been 10-2. I'm not going to get off that because it's true. They should have beaten Michigan State and they should have beaten Penn State, but they didn't. Next year, they can have a 10-2 season the way the schedule's set up. Now, they have to win the games that they're supposed to win and a couple that they're not, but they should have won that. They should have done that this year. So they're going to be even better next year, though. My point is you're going to have an offense that's more solidified.
Here's what I think makes Indiana fans, and I'm going to kind of lump it into Indiana basketball fans, but this is why I think Indiana basketball fans are great and awesome, is because we don't play they should have been or we should have been. They weren't. That's the bottom line. I mean, they didn't win those games, and quite frankly, they didn't win any big games. So, I mean, I'm happy with the season. Also, I'm happy that they have 8 wins. I'm happy they're going to a bowl and that it was solidified in the month of October. But you look at the schedule and you look at the bottom line, I mean, they didn't really – maybe Nebraska on the road would be a game you could say – I mean, that's easily their biggest win.
It was a big win because they hadn't done it in so long and because of who it was. And it's not going to be long. I think Nebraska's back to being Nebraska.
Yeah, 3 years from now, that win's going to look better than I think it does this year.
Absolutely, and that was a tough win, but they were better than Nebraska.
Yeah.
Michigan State, Indiana was better than Michigan State, and they didn't get the job done.
Indiana did not win any big games.
No, they and the thing is, it wouldn't have taken craziness for them to beat Michigan State or Penn State. They should have beat them straight up.
Yep.
They made mistakes, and I don't want to get negative on it, but
I'm not getting here's what's that? Here's where it sounds like you're being negative, and I promise I'm not. I'm so high on the football team. I'm so happy when they have success because it gets that many more IU fans excited about everything IU, and that's what I love. But I mean, I'm stating the facts, and that they didn't beat anyone that was an outstanding win. I mean, they beat the teams they should have beat, and they were kind of fortunate to have a fairly easy schedule.
And I'm going to give them a pass on it this year.
Sure.
But they don't get a pass next year.
No.
Next year they have to win.
You've got to beat one of those 4 games.
Next year you have to beat Michigan State. For one thing, you're going to have them at home, and you're going to have Penn State at home. They need to win both of those games next year. Without doubt. I think that they can win every game on their schedule, and with the exception of possibly at Ohio State and at Michigan. That's a tough ask. But you don't know what Michigan's going to be like next year. Harbaugh may not even be there. Hey, we got to take a break. We talk so long, man. No. That's what makes it fun. That's when you're having fun. We got a lot to get to. Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Appreciate you listening. We're back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former IU basketball player Derek Elson. Follow the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
Come on. Yeah, come on, baby. All right.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, of course, with Coyle Leary here on this Friday, December 6th. Thank goodness it is Friday. Todd Father's here.
Does feel good. Todd's Father's here every day. Friday, I'm just extra specially sweet.
Tom Allen's happy, I can promise you that.
Yeah, he is.
Tom Allen is getting paid.
Big time.
$3.9 million. Highest paid. That would make him the highest paid person at Indiana University.
Coach of all time ever at Indiana University?
You know what? I don't know what Crean was making when he left. But very possible. Yeah, I'm going to say yes. I don't know of anyone that – did he make four? Did Crean ever make four? He may have. We'll have to get Jake to look that up. Or
$3.8 million overpaid.
Yeah. No doubt about that. But Tom Allen's getting paid a new contract, 7-year contract, total $27 million all in all. Coach,
yeah.
I need a loan, please.
That's the
best kind of loan, a forgivable loan.
Forgettable. You want it to be forgettable. He forget all about it.
Forget all. That's right. Here you go. Here's a little something.
Yep. But man, that's it sounds like an insane amount of money when you're talking about the real world, but in their world of what coaches make, I'm the first one to tell you I'm shocked that that's less than the average for Big Ten coaches.
Yeah, but imagine he was at 1.8 million times.
Crazy.
He was at 1.8 million.
It's crazy.
That was crazy. He was getting paid less than Chris Ash, who had been fired at Rutgers.
Yeah.
Chris Ash was sitting at home, out of a job, making more money than Tom Allen was making.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
A lot.
It's crazy. But that's all changed now. And so, and that's good because he wasn't going anywhere. But, those stories came out where things are not going well in the coaching hire for Florida State. And so there was a story out that he was among a group of people that had been vetted for that job, which I knew he wasn't going there. He wasn't leaving Indiana. He loves Indiana, and he hasn't done enough for anybody to take him away from Indiana. But it sure was able to put a spotlight on the fact that he's not getting paid and they're having success. So this puts that to bed and gets that. That helps with recruiting. I mean, that tells recruits, hey, I'm going to be here.
Right.
I'm not going anywhere. And that's huge because so much of what he has accomplished is because of his recruiting, Todd.
That's how those guys are successful. There's no question about that. And this is a reward. You know, when they gave the stat and you heard it repeatedly during the IU Purdue game, when they gave the stat that Indiana has, isn't this true? More players from the state of Florida than any other team in the Big Ten. Absolutely. That is, that's an incredible stat, and that's what he's being rewarded for now. And you know, that's that. In that world, it's hard to believe that anybody deserves that amount of money, but in that world, that he deserves that for sure, no question. I mean, the guy he's making $10,600 a day right now. That's pretty good.
How much?
$10,600 a day.
Man, that makes my neck hurt.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot.
And the biggest question.
He gets paid on Sundays too. That includes weekends.
Can they keep Kalen DeBoer? I mean, first of all, what world are we living in where our biggest topic of discussion and concern is keeping the football coaches?
Offensive coordinator. Yeah, that's a fun world. It
is. It is. It's just crazy. It's upside down world.
That's true.
It's nuts. We're talking about the fear of losing football coaches at Indiana. and there's a Big Ten basketball game, but our biggest topic is keeping the Indiana football coaches. I'm saying that because that's how far right. This program has come. That's it's nuts. But right now, I mean, you've got to, and I have, as much as anybody, have given Fred Glass crap. But man, nobody can not look at what's going on and say, well, maybe all the right people are in the right places.
The guys getting the job done. Yeah.
Brings in Jeff Mercer in baseball. First year they win the Big Ten championships. That's something they hadn't done in like 6 years. You've got soccer, of course, that is maintaining
wins every year,
a level of standard of excellence that is continuing, and with no signs of slowing down.
Yep.
You got women's basketball, who is on a meteoric and unprecedented rise to the season. They're 14th right now, and they're only going to go higher.
Yeah, let's talk about her salary that needs to be increased.
Oh, after this year, you think that won't happen?
It better. It better.
I don't know. She's been here for 5 years, so she could be. Then that would be her luck. If she's getting close to the end of her contract agreement, this would be perfect timing for her.
Yeah, it would.
And poor Michael McRobbie's going to have to cut loose some of that Big Ten money. Not going to know what to do with himself.
Get off his back. You don't know where that money. You don't know what's going on with that.
Well, and why don't we know where that money is going?
Because it's none of our business.
That's not true. It's a public institution. That's public. It's public
none of
record.
Our business. We got other stuff to worry about. I don't need to worry about what's
not being a reporter. That's why you think that way.
He's not stealing it, so who cares? As long as he's improving the Indiana University.
What do you mean? Who cares? You have to know that's called checks and balances, man. That's what the media is about. That's why the media was put in place in the beginning with back in the old days. Checks and balances, making sure things are.
You just told me a minute ago I'm not allowed to talk about the old days, and now you're talking about the old days.
No, I'm just making a reference of why the purpose of the media in the beginning.
President McRobbie is as honorable a person as there is. And
didn't say
that. He's making good decisions.
Okay, now you're taking that conversation a whole different place.
I don't mean it that way. I don't think you're not saying that.
Yeah,
I'm
just
saying
I'm not.
I trust just like I trust Fred Glass. With sometimes you don't understand the decisions are made, but then you see the results in the long run. You're like, okay, you got to give that guy some leeway.
Here's the deal. It's public information and it has to be released. And when you don't release things that are supposed to be released, that in and of itself brings up a gigantic red flag.
It seems a little weird, but
exactly. There's a reason. Why are you not saying where the money's going?
Because we're Indiana Sports Beat and we're a sports show and we don't give a crap.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. Well, we're going to educate
it
you.
Shouldn't have.
We're going to educate you in the world of media.
Be talked about here because we're a sports show.
Well, guess what? Guess where the Big Ten money comes from?
Moving on.
Athletics.
Moving on. You win. I don't want to win this conversation. You win. Totally, you are the victor.
It's not about that. It's not about that.
It's just let's talk about IU at Wisconsin tomorrow.
That's in the next segment.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's in the next segment.
Then what else can I enlighten you on?
Oh, my God. Enlighten me. I'll take on anything. The women's team. When's their next game? I don't have that. Are they on
tomorrow
Sunday?
night? Tomorrow night, 7:00.
Where
IU women's basketball at Assembly Hall tomorrow night, 7:00. Saturday night, 7:00.
Wait a minute. So the men's are playing right before the women?
Yeah, but men are on the road and the women are at home.
Oh, that's right.
The women play North Florida tomorrow night, 7:00. Assembly Hall.
Oh, I can make that game.
Yep. You're going to miss the Ohio State-Wisconsin Big Ten championship if you do, unfortunately. But you can tape it. You can tape it and watch the football game later.
Absolutely.
Actually, you know what? I'll probably be watching it, and I can give you a better rundown than you watching it yourself. I'll tell you what you need to think out of it, so I'll tell you what happens.
Of course.
Here, I can actually tell you right now. Ohio State's going to win by 29.
Really?
There, it's summarized for you. Wisconsin sucks.
You think
Wisconsin sucks in Wisconsin sucks in basketball, and Wisconsin sucks in football.
Mike Krzyzewski makes $8.9 million.
And deserves every cent.
Calipari, $8 million.
Coach Knight, what's Coach Knight making his biggest year?
Like God.
125,000?
Well, first of all, when you look at salaries, when you look it up, the school, their official salary is like $500,000. The bulk of their money comes in from media responsibilities, the
shoe deals,
radio shows, all that crap. They add all that up. So, but yeah, if you look, the school only pays like $500,000 from that portion. So, but
Coach Knight used to donate his full salary every year to the library.
That's because he wasn't making anything. He was making all his money.
$125,000.
Yeah, he was making all of his money on all the other deals.
No doubt. I totally agree.
The general store.
No, Adidas. The general store. That's right. Tim Knight ran the general store. I love that place. I wish it was still there.
I do too. I like to just go in. What a great name, though. Great play on words.
Well, yeah, they hit the nail on the. Well, I mean, Tim went to Stanford with a business degree. It isn't like Tim was a dummy. I mean, Tim Knight was a smart human, or is a smart human, I should say. He's still.
Well, Bob Knight is a smart guy. I mean, he had no matter what you think about him, he was a very intelligent, well-read person.
There is no question about that. He intimidates me from all different levels of knowledge.
Tim texted in that Tom Crean was making 3.16 at IU. He makes 3.2 at Georgia. Jeff Tedford of Fresno State is the guy stepping down due to health reasons. Now they are coming after Kalen DeBoer. I haven't seen that officially, but have you seen that somewhere officially, Tim? But
I mean, that's probably a given. I mean, of course they're going to come after him. He's probably their number one go get, but. You know, you look at their highest paid salary in that conference was what Jake said at 1.8 or 9 million or whatever. I mean, I'm going to guess he's not going to leave for that, but I don't know him personally. So
Joker says whatever Crean made, it was too much.
Bingo, Joker. Joker occasionally says something. No, Joker says a lot of good things. It's Tim that usually says something that's inaccurate.
Tim just said, did Todd call me smart?
No.
Oh man, Tim.
I'm kidding. I love Tim. He actually brings up some really good points. Just most of the time they're wrong.
No, he provides me with a lot of information.
Exactly. He provides you with your You're
ace in the hole.
Misguided information.
Please.
Kidding.
But yeah, Kalen DeBoer, man, that's the next question. Can
is.
Indiana keep Kalen DeBoer? And it's not whether Indiana can keep him. It's whether or not he is ready to make that jump. Because if his sole goal is to be a head coach now, you're not going to keep him. You're just not, because they're not going to match, even though the money's not going to be that much. And I think he would be smarter to stay, just because I think he can, like I said earlier, I think he can make a bigger jump from here than going to Fresno State. I think he can end up
if he goes to Fresno,
Arkansas.
If he goes to Fresno State, that's a job. Yes, it's probably still a stepping stone job, but he's got to stay there for probably 2, 3, 4 years before he steps up to another big job. If he stays here, he's going to get job offers from, he's probably going to get some Big Ten head coaching job offers and some SEC head coaching job offers.
If he stays here, I think they go 10-2.
Time.
If he stays in Indiana, I think Indiana goes 10-2 next year, and there's no way they can keep him.
Yeah, I hope they go 10-2, because if they go 10-2, it'll mean they beat somebody that's good.
Oh, they will beat.
And this year, I can't say that.
Exactly, I agree, but I think that if they can keep him, they go 10-2 next year, and then they have no chance of keeping him after that. But I think he can leave for a bigger, better job after next season, as opposed to waiting 3 or 4 years, like you said, when he goes to Fresno State, because there's a big difference between becoming a head coach and being an OC. There's a lot less pressure, a lot less responsibility. And so the success of that team is, you look at Tom Allen, it's taken 3 years to get here. But man, you can see where the program is going, but it took an administration that was paying him very little and had patience with him because of that. And he got there. He got the job done.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think you're absolutely right in that he's going to have more opportunities at
you got
a bigger,
that recorded, right,
job.
Jake?
Yeah. Tape that.
Make sure that's recorded.
He's going to have better opportunities in the next 2 or 3 or 4 years. I think he's going to have opportunities at both places. But if he stays here and Indiana has an 8-win season, he's going to have great opportunities. If they have a 9-win season next year, it's going to be crazy. And if he has a 10-win season, he's going to be able to name whatever the biggest job in this side of the country is, he's going to get, or he's going to have the opportunity to have.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. But it's great to have, like I said earlier, the fact that we're just having these conversations.
Yeah.
Man, a year ago, just 1 year ago, no one would have ever dreamed. Hell, 6 months ago, people wouldn't have dreamed this conversation was going to take place.
Think about last year, this time, everyone was kind of jealous of Purdue football and having Fromm and that whole, just the kind of the direction they were going and everything. And man, you talk about
things went sideways for Purdue this year.
Tanking it in a year, yeah.
But here's the thing.
They'll be back.
Let me tell you, because as bad as things went for them, they still had the number 2 passing game in the conference behind it, or they may be slightly ahead of Indiana. I have to look, but they're right there with 3 different quarterbacks. 3 different quarterbacks threw for 400 yards. Man, that's a hell of a coach they can get.
I'd love to know how many times that has ever happened.
I don't know that it's ever happened.
It is incredible. It really is incredible.
But that shows you what happens if they stay healthy. Scary.
Real scary.
Scary if Jeff Brom stays.
It's funny how just the injuries alone make it like, I'm not making fun of their season. I'm just saying like they had a super down year, no doubt about it. And it's 2 guys' injuries that literally could have made that a 7-8 win football team. If Rondell Moore doesn't get hurt, I mean, that guy is a not just a game changer, he's a program changer. I mean, he gets you 2 or 3 victories by himself every year.
Yeah. We got to take a break. Man, we're just going at it today. This is great. The topics are just free flowing. We got plenty more coming up. Tom Brew's going to join us in the next hour. We got plenty of football to talk about, some basketball. Indiana takes on Wisconsin tomorrow and an opportunity to go 9-0 to start the season. And without doubt, they will be in the rankings the following week, which means a lot to the fans. It doesn't mean anything to anybody else. But it's just a recognition of you're doing something is more importantly, I guess. But we got all that coming back here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Larry. Stay tuned. We're back with more from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this.
Thank you for the truth you let me see, Sonny. Thank you for the facts from A to...
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moyer.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Hi, this is A.J. Moyer, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Larry, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Friday. Hey, don't forget to do us a favor. If you see the show broadcast on Facebook or wherever you see it, Twitter, share it for us. Actually, we normally do that so people get to see the show in every
How do you do
form
that?
or fashion.
How do you share it to us social
God.
media challenged humans? How do we
Talk
do that?
to Jessica. I can't explain it to you. If you don't know how to share on Facebook, it's
Okay. Cool.
Any 4-year-old can
How do we do it,
it,
Jake? How do we do it, Jake?
What you can do is you can take the link to the show from wherever you listen to on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Spreaker, wherever. You can take that and share it on your personal Facebook feed, Twitter feed, wherever. Or just tell a friend about it, and they can listen to it on iTunes, Spotify, etc.
Or I could just ask Jessica. Either way.
Yeah, you can do that.
Either one of those? Okay,
Yep.
cool. Thanks.
Everybody else
Thanks,
is Jessica, too.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, man. How about the Dallas Cowboys? Man, they stunk last night.
They didn't stink last night. They straight up suck. Like their whole organization. I mean, you talk about being able to just it's like they're in a fishbowl and we're all sitting there looking at it like this thing is a train wreck. Like they have zero chance of winning. Like they just need to clean house. Can you fire the owner? And I actually kind of like him. He's kind of funny. He's, you can tell he loves it. You can tell how much he loves the Dallas Cowboys. So that's what makes me like him. But geez, they're shit show or they're a crap show. Sorry, gosh, dang it! I blame Bob Knight. Bob Knight gave me bad language.
We were talking about salaries earlier because Tom Allen just received a brand new 7-year, $27 million contract for Indiana.
727.
Now we're worried about Kalen DeBoer, the offensive coordinator, who came here from Fresno State, and now Fresno State's head coaching position is going to be coming open. But to give you an understanding, Greg Schiano just signed a new deal to go back to Rutgers as their head coach. But I believe in his deal, he had $7.7 million allocated for assistants, salaries, and bonuses and all that. Indiana, according to Zach Osterman, was scheduled to pay about $3.6 out to assistants before bonuses this season. With bonuses, they're at about $4 million. So roughly half of what Rutgers has allocated for assistants. That's what I'm talking about. They've got to get in the ballpark. They have got to stay completely committed to that. So, but we'll get more on that in the next hour. But tomorrow, Indiana takes on Wisconsin, Todd, in it's not a must win, but it is a must win because with the success they've had, with the game they had against Florida State, to maintain that momentum, you can't lose to a really mediocre Wisconsin team. And this is an opportunity to excise a demon that they've not been able to win in Madison for quite some time.
Yeah, and that's a huge factor. It really does play into it. The cool part is these Indiana kids, are young and they have short memories. They don't know about that 20-year history of losing there. But yeah, this is a game. I mean, this is the biggest game of the year so far. The Florida State game was the biggest test, obviously, that they've had so far, and they passed that tremendously. But this is, I said it prior to the December schedule starting, that the two most important games of this, December stretch of tough games is the Nebraska and the Wisconsin games. And that's because they're the Big Ten games. And Indiana needs to finish in the top, 5 for sure. But I think if they really want to, I think they've got the capability of finishing in the top 3 in the Big Ten. And in order to do that, you've got to get off to a good start. Indiana has an incredibly advantageous schedule for their December 2 games in the Big Ten. Like having Nebraska at home and Wisconsin on the road. This is not your typical Wisconsin team. And this team, quite frankly, is not very good. And they're specifically not very good when they shoot the ball the way they've been shooting it. Now, that being said, we all watch it year in and year out. Teams seem to have a great shooting night against Indiana for whatever reason that is. And they may pull out of a terrible slump that they're in. Wisconsin is in a horrible shooting slump. And they may all come out of it and make 15 3-pointers in this game because they have the guys that are capable of doing it and have done it in the past. And, but this is a very important game and a game that Indiana should win. And if they do, it puts them in a great position. I mean, they're going to beat Nebraska at home. So to get off to a 2-0 start for the Big Ten would be a gigantic deal. And it all starts tomorrow. It's the biggest game so far.
Absolutely. I agree with you 1,000%. And it's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, as I mentioned, the momentum, man, that would be a momentum killer because of what you said, because they're not that good. This is not going to Florida State or going to Michigan State or a team that is going to be tough. This is one of those games we talked about with football. This is one of those games you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
And so you need to win those games. especially right now because their confidence is growing. And if they can get this road win, even though it's over a mediocre team, it will go miles in continuing to raise that confidence. And that will also give them the confidence they're going to need up in New York.
Yeah, you're right on with all of that. I mean, you look at, I mean, just saying, obviously I'm assuming our listeners are full-time Indiana basketball fans. And so you've watched the games over the last couple of years. When I say these names of players from Wisconsin, you're going to be like, well, wait a minute. They got a lot of veteran guys. I mean, Demetric Trice, kid started since he was a freshman. Brad Davidson started since he was a freshman. Pritzel has been, Brevin Pritzel's been there forever. The Nate Roovers guy hasn't played a ton, but this year he's been awesome. But those other guys, you're sitting there going, wait a minute. How are you saying they're a bad team when those guys I just named, I mean, Pritzel, Trice, and Brad Davidson, those guys have won a lot of big games and played in a lot of big games and played for conference championships. And how all of a sudden could they be bad? And truly, they're just not playing very well together. They don't have that inside presence that they've had. And Wisconsin, for the last however many years, has always had a couple things. They've had an inside guy who could score, and then they've always had one kind of defensive stopper type guy who he could guard a guy that was 6'9", and he could guard a guy that was 6'3". He was just a really good defender. And right now, they don't have either one of those two guys. And they've got a bunch of guys who have experience, but are not super athletic, and they just have shot the ball so miserably that quite frankly, I mean, this is an Indiana team that should go in there and win by 15 or 20 points. That being said, that doesn't happen very much on the road in the Big Ten.
No, it hasn't happened at Wisconsin.
Yeah, for sure it hadn't happened.
In a
this
lifetime.
is not your typical Wisconsin team.
Right.
This team is not good.
And just as important as I've talked about how important this game is to Indiana, Wisconsin is viewing it the same way for them, but differently because their season has gone off the rails a little bit, and this is an opportunity to get it back on track. And it's actually an opportunity that they need to take advantage of to get back on track, because if they lose this game to Indiana at home, that only sends them further down that rabbit hole where they're headed right now.
Yeah, they're a team that is struggling, has struggled. Has not played very well in a lot of games. I mean, they're 4-4 already on the year. The weird part is they had a really good win against Richmond. Richmond's a pretty darn good team. Or no, I'm sorry. They lost to Richmond. Richmond is a good team, but they beat Marquette. I mean, Marquette, then they beat them handily. St. Mary's, they went to overtime. First game of the year. They ended up losing, but they went to overtime. I mean, they have the capability. I think they were supposed to be better on paper. Like I said, when you get veteran guys like that handle the ball a lot and have shown the ability to score, going into it, I would say they kind of tricked everybody who does the predictions ahead of time, because they should be better on paper. They're just not, and they're not playing very well. I mean, you watched them play NC State the other day. I think that, they lost by 15 in that game. I mean, it wasn't that close. Like, NC State's not that great either, but NC State just dominated them.
Absolutely. Hey, don't forget to share the broadcast wherever you see it. If you see it on Facebook, Twitter, or any of the places where you find a podcast where we rebroadcast the show, share it out so other people can see that. I'm saying that because somebody got a bad email on Facebook, and we got blocked for a week. We can't share stuff.
What did I do?
Not you. Is
it my language? My language get me blocked for a week?
No,
wouldn't be the first time. Wouldn't be the first time.
That was in need, but no, that did not happen. I can make the request. Maybe, Jake, can I make that request? I can make that.
Can you just block me for a week? That wouldn't be the first time that's probably happened either.
Hey, we've got more coming up, and don't forget tomorrow after the basketball game, of course, after the game with Todd Leary live from Yogi's, after Indiana hopefully gets their first road win of the season against Wisconsin. That game tips at 4:00, so we'll be on with you at 6, just in time to finish up for the start of the women's game, which starts at 7 as they take on North Florida, and they're looking to add to their resume and possibly be in the top 10 next week, man. They're going to be bumping heads with Maryland, who is one
Maryland
of the top.
Got beat last night.
I didn't see the end of the game. Did they?
Yeah.
They were playing North Carolina State.
North Carolina State.
Yeah, North Carolina State. And I was watching that game with interest because I'm sitting there going, Indiana can play with them.
Right. Totally agree.
So Maryland, here's what's on the line for Indiana, which I'm pretty confident they're going to beat North Florida. But when they win that game and the new rankings come out next week, Maryland is currently number 9. Indiana's number 14. What's going to happen is the Indiana women's team is going to be the highest ranked team in the Big Ten.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
You're right. You're right. They'll probably flip-flop. They'll probably go to 9. Maryland will probably go to 15, 14.
We got a lot more to get to here on the program. We got a lot more to talk about. More basketball, more football. Tom Brew's going to join us in the next hour as well. So stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Back with more from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is James Whiteman Jr., former Indiana Hoosier. Make sure you're keeping up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat.
Is that Jay Beats? Is that some Jay Beats?
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Coyle and Larry with you here on this Friday, December 6th. Tons of text into the show, and you can do so as well. 812-269-6367. That's 812-269-6367. Send us a text anytime. I know a lot of people listen after we're off, either by podcast or some other method. But you can send in your questions, comments anytime. We'll get them on the next show. Jennifer sent a text in that she's not very optimistic about Wisconsin. Although they may be down this year, they can still beat IU if the Hoosiers struggle with turnovers and free throws. Very right. I may be the eternal pessimist, but when it comes to IU, maybe the eternal pessimist when it comes to IU basketball. So what she's right about, she's absolutely right. Indiana's not going to just get the win because they show up. They have to do the things that they've done. But the thing is, they don't have to do anything extraordinary. They had to withstand a lot from Florida State, from a different defensive front and the way they attack you and wear you down. And you talked about the guards getting wore down from having to be attacked from the minute they get the ball from one end of the court to the other. They're not going to face that at Wisconsin. It's a different type of deal. But they've got to do what they got to do to get the win. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Jennifer's, we've all kind of been trained to be pessimistic, especially when Indiana heads to Wisconsin. So I'm with you. When I saw the schedule first come out, I thought, oh man, that's a tough start to the Big Ten season. And it's just such an awesome deal to be able to go 2-0 in the Big Ten. I hate these two early Big Ten games, for one. But that's a whole nother topic. But to be able to go 2-0 and then have a little, time to catch your breath and then start January and you really get things humping after that and you got full focus on the Big Ten, that's a big advantage, I think. And when I first saw the schedule and saw that Wisconsin was the first game at Wisconsin, I was like, oh, man, that's a difficult way to have to get started. But this is not that Wisconsin team. Indiana – all around, like I will say Monday on the show, there isn't any way around this. That it could not be a fluke loss. If Indiana loses, it's a terrible, terrible loss. Wisconsin's a bad team. That Indiana is better than Wisconsin at every single position, and that goes all the way. That's if Rob Finney doesn't play, and that's going through the first three guys off the bench. So 1 through 8, Indiana is better at every single position. So it would be a horrible loss.
Yeah, it would take things like, as Bill pointed out in his text, that Al's shooting was off the other night. He missed 3 free throws in a row, and he hadn't done that this season. When you have 2 or 3 guys having a night like that, that's when you get in trouble. Right now, in this either men's or women's team, they have the luxury of you don't know who's going to step up. Now, for the men, you're expecting Devontae Green is going to be one of those guys every night. On the women's team, you don't know who the hell it's going to be. I'm telling you, it's just pick a number. It's like drawing a name out of a hat on who's going to be their lead, which is great because you're not dependent upon any one person that way. The men's team, there's no superstar per se, but I don't think there's any question that the Devontae is driving the scoring train.
I mean, there's some question. The very first 2 games of the season, Devontae doesn't play, and Al Durham looks like the guy who is easily going to lead Indiana in scoring and very comfortable, being the scoring punch for IU. And then Trace Jackson Davis has just been, that's a steady train as you can get. So they've got plenty of different options from that. And we're still not able to talk about Rob Finney and what an impact he's going to make for them from a scoring perspective. So, we're saying all that. And Justin Smith's a guy, I don't consider him that much of a scorer, but he's done an outstanding job, early in the year of getting some junk baskets and putbacks and tip ins and moves in the lane, gotten himself to the free throw line. So yeah, there's just been there's a myriad of guys who can step up and pick up that scoring punch. That's truly I don't get that excited about early season Indiana basketball unless I really think they've got an outstanding opportunity to be good. And with this many scorers, they've got that chance. They really do.
Ryan from Michigan says, how awesome is Coach Hamilton? Super classy man. I assume talking about Leonard Hamilton from Florida State. He had a lot of good things to say about Indiana and the team he faced. He legitimized what Indiana did on the court with his words, I think.
Yeah, and what's awesome? Yes, he's a classy dude, and he says the right things. That's a good all around representative for the university. But what makes me as an Indiana fan feel great about it is the fact that yes, they go to Cameron Indoor Stadium and they go to the Dean Dome and they go to all these different places, and the fact that he is singling Indiana and Assembly Hall out, and the fans at being knowledgeable and classy fans, I take that as a little bit of an extra compliment, because I mean, different than if it's a guy, from the conference of turds out west, Pac-12 or whatever that is. I mean, that wouldn't be near as big of a compliment as it is coming from somebody that plays in the ACC.
Tim texts in, says, Dick Vitale did not give IU credit. He said Florida State was just jet-lagged. Vitale needs to retire, according to Tim. Well, you know what? They did go through a rough schedule, but they're 18, 19-year-old kids, man. They can handle it. They're ready to go.
Man, I'm gonna have to agree with Tim on this one, though. I'm ready. I'm ready for some fresh
they had a pretty good schedule. Oh yeah. Hey, easy now. Dick's gonna be on our show next.
I know it. I love what Dick Vitale has done for the excitement of basketball and college basketball in general, which is my favorite sport. Obviously, I love that, and his passion and excitement is awesome. Now, he's not my favorite guy to do a game, but his passion for basketball and his passion for Bob Knight and Indiana basketball and Assembly Hall has always been there. So, that makes you like him a little bit more. I'm sure Purdue fans don't love him because he doesn't generally say. He did love Gene Katie, though. He loved him some Gene Katie. And Mackey Arena, I mean, just for Tim today, we'll let him know. I mean, Mackey Arena, he always talks about what a great place it is to play and how it's the loudest arena.
Oh, my God. Roger from Evansville said not to take anything away from IU, but Florida State played 3 games within 5 days up to playing IU, and that's true. And especially the way they play, that is so relentless, they've got to be tired after they get done playing a game.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it. And that you look at it that way, though, that's not that big a deal. If it's the Maui Classic and it's 3 games in a row, because believe me, what you're not game days and game speed is a different level. Yes, there's no doubt about it. But what you're not factoring into it is it's not like, if they don't play a game for 7 days, it's not like they got a whole bunch of rest going on in between all of that. I mean, you never ever want as a player 7 days off, unless you've got an injury, unless you have a legit injury that you need time to heal. You never want those days off. Those breaks in between. We used to always have it after the Kentucky game, and it was the week of finals, and we would always have that whole week off and not play again until the next Saturday. That week sucked. Like, that's a full week of hard ass practices. So it's just, I get what he's saying in that, but if as a player you would choose to play 3 games in 5 days versus practicing.
Another section in the show from Todd. Everything Todd says is right. Oh, that's from Todd.
Who's that from? Well, that guy. Who is that guy?
Some idiot named Todd.
That's one of our most knowledgeable texters so far.
Jake, can you block that number, please?
Man, finally we're getting some people that really have some knowledge. That's impressive. What did he say again?
I lost it. I think I deleted it already.
Huh.
But Tim sent in an image of you that I can't use, obviously. But
I wondered when people were going to start sending us pictures to that text line.
But I got one here. It's you crying. So there you go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's been too many public images of that.
Indiana taking on Wisconsin tomorrow on the road up in Madison at 4:00. After the game with Todd Leary, of course, comes to you live from Yogi's immediately on Facebook Live. You can catch us there. You can also listen to it any place you listen to a podcast, as it's also broadcast out just like our regular radio shows are. So you can catch it anywhere. Make sure you share all of that. Share the show, share the after the show with Todd Leary, share our daily show so we can get it to as many people as possible. Especially right now, we're having an issue on Facebook sharing. So if you can do that for us, please help us.
I think that's the same report you got after like kindergarten class when you were a kid. You had problems sharing.
I wish I could show this this little image.
You can send it to me.
It's just, I'll have to do that. I'll have to forward. I don't know how. See if I can forward that to you here.
Hey, I just shared us. I just figured out how to do it all by myself.
Wow.
I shared our show.
Jessica didn't help you or anything?
No, nobody, just me. Yep.
Somebody get the cookies.
I'm feeling big today. I'm feeling
Somebody
like
get the cookies. Get the cookies out.
Like an adult.
We've got to take a break. We've got Tom Brew coming up next, so Stay tuned. We'll be back with all that and plenty more here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. We're back. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
This is former IU basketball player Derek Elson. Follow the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
Take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Here coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Coyle Leary sitting with you on this Friday. The weekend is upon us. Joined now by Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana. Tom, how are you?
I'm great, guys. How are you today?
Doing well. Not quite as well as Tom Allen, as word came out early this morning that he's in the process of signing a new 7-year, $27 million contract that would get him up into the range of respectability as far as payments go for Big Ten coaches and football coaches. So congratulations to him. That's something that needed to happen and gets one of those things out of the way for Indiana football.
Absolutely. It surprised me a little bit with the length, 7 years. But good for him. I mean, I think everybody from the president of the university on down thinks that he's the right man for this job. And the progress that's been made through 3 years has been good. And with all these young freshmen and sophomores on this team right now, the future is certainly bright. And I don't think there's any question that the timing of this contract extension announcement has a lot to do with the next 11 days of recruiting as well, because it's two great good recruiting classes in a row, needs to be trumped by a third class that's even better. And I think knowing that he's going to be here and he's not going anywhere, I think that will resonate well with recruits. And, if they can wind up getting a class that's, in the top, 5, 6, 7 in the Big Ten again, to be even better than what it's been the last couple of years, I think that would be huge.
Yeah, the bulk of his recruiting success has been on his relationships that he has made himself. I mean, a lot of the credit goes directly to Tom Allen, and it is very important for these guys that they know he's going to be here. He's not going anywhere. So that will be huge for Indiana's recruiting.
I think so too, but let's also give a lot of credit to his staff of assistant coaches, because especially in areas like in Florida where they've done really, really well. Tom Allen has great connections there, but so do a lot of these other assistant coaches, like Grant Hurd and Mike Hart and Nick Sheridan and such, and Brendan Shelby right on down the line. I mean, they've done their jobs, and and they're going to get rewarded for it now. And I was happy to see that there's another bump in the pay pool for assistants as well, because they're probably going to need that to keep a few of these guys around, I think.
Well, speaking of right off the bat, Kalen DeBoer, someone who has had obviously a great deal of success in helping Indiana's offense really jumpstart this season. Fresno State, where he came from, the head coach there stepping down. So obviously they're probably going to be going for DeBoer.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, it's I think for him the next logical step is to be a head coach. And that's, kind of a fit, obviously, because he had, great success there for 2 years. And then as soon as he left, they were horrible. So he certainly has the resume and the reputation to be an interesting target for them. But we'll have to see. They paid him very well to come here. And I think he has thoroughly enjoyed his year at Indiana. I think he enjoys competing in the Big Ten. And, and I don't know if that's, I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet since that all just happened yesterday, but it'll be interesting to watch. But certainly I hope Indiana can keep him around because he's done a great job with this offense.
Oh, absolutely. And the reasons you just gave are why Fresno State would love to have him back. But one thing that of note that, Greg Schiano just signed a new deal to go back to Rutgers. Part of his deal included $7.7 million for assistant coaches. Indiana's portion of that is $3.6 million. So right at half of what Rutgers has allocated. So they're probably going to have to make some increases on the assistant side as well to keep these guys around.
I think so too, and I had a different number than that. I thought I had 4.8 something, but they could be wrong. But yeah, I think
that's with Dr. Ray and David Ballou. It does go up to 4.8 when you include those guys.
Right. Yeah, which is they are considered part of the coaching staff budget. But yeah, I agree, and I think Rutgers was probably being a little proactive ahead of that, knowing that. If they want the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinators they want, they're going to have to overpay to convince somebody to come to Rutgers. So I think that's part of that there, and Schiano backed them into a corner after they screwed it up the first time. So I think he pretty much got whatever he wanted the second go around.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we'll know more about where Indiana's going bowling after tomorrow's round of conference championship games, including Wisconsin and Ohio State. And then we'll find out where teams like Minnesota and Penn State are going to go, which is going to go a long way in determining where Indiana ends up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole pecking order to all of this. And I'm venturing to guess at the moment that we're not going to know anything until pretty late in the day on Sunday even, because I think, based on how things play out, there's, going to be an issue on who that fourth playoff team is. And then that kind of stops, all the New Year's Six Bowls from doing anything until they know, who's in and which conferences are in and which tie-ins they have to deal with. And that'll take a couple hours. So it's going to be sort of a wait and see thing. And, it can be anywhere, I think anywhere, Outback is the best scenario, but it's, maybe a 5 or 10% chance at best. And then Music City or Gator are certainly possibilities. Pinstripe Bowl is a possibility. It's still wide open. I mean, I talked to 3 different, bowl people, in the last couple of days, and all three bowl people have said that it's going to be chaos on come Sunday because there's everybody's got different rules and contract requirements, and the Big Ten, of course, is going to have their say as to who they want in certain matchups. So it's not we're not going to know anything till Sunday afternoon, and it's almost crazy even trying to guess. I mean, obviously I'm biased. With my Tampa roots, I want to go to the Outback Bowl, but that's just me. It's like the chances of that are kind of slim because I think Minnesota gets in our way now with that. But we'll see. At the very least, it'll be a decent bowl game, and it's certainly a reward, well deserved and well earned. For an 8-win season, that's been a lot of fun to be around.
Absolutely. What do you have new coming out?
Well, I'm going to do some previewing today for the Indiana-Wisconsin game tomorrow. I'm actually halfway towards Madison as we speak, so we'll take care of all that, and then we'll dive into this Tom Allen contract thing, and we'll have the news story on that up here in just a touch, and then I've got a column on that, that just basically says Indiana's done. Tom Allen has done his job, and now Indiana has done theirs. So now it's Tom Allen's turn again to do the rest of his job, because 8 wins, 5 Big Ten wins, that's all good and well. But we can't forget that those 5 wins came against the 5 Big Ten teams that did not become bowl eligible. So there's still a long way for this program to go. It's heading in the right direction, but that's going to be on Tom Allen now, for this to continue going in a positive direction.
Yeah, we had that exact conversation earlier that they did some things this year that hasn't been done in a long, long time and has rarely been done. And so they get a pass this year because in actuality, they should be 10-2. The loss to Michigan State's a bad loss to me, and they should have beaten Penn State straight up. So they should legitimately be 10-2, but they get a pass to me on this season. Next year, I think they don't get that pass. And if they're as good as they look like they could be next season and the way the schedule's laid out, it could be and possibly should be a 10-win season for Indiana next year.
Well, very much so. But, it's to win 8 is always a good thing in the Big Ten, especially when you reside in the Big Ten East. And, I think we talk a lot about this line of demarcation in that division. I think they've, even though they lost to Michigan State in September, they are a way better team now than they were in September. And I think they've passed them by, and I think Michigan State's got some clear issues. So it's so I think they are passing them by. And then next year the key is can they get past Penn State next year? And so they'll get to play them here, and we'll see. But that's a long way off. I think it's probably a little too early to start breaking down 2020 games. But but I think the big picture thing most immediately is that he needs to use his contract extension to get a lot of these guys. There are a lot of high 3-star and a lot of 4-star guys that have Indiana in their final group of 2 or 3 or 4, and he needs to get a good bunch of those and finish this recruiting class off in style here in the next 11 days.
Absolutely. Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana. Thanks a lot for joining us.
You're welcome, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.
You as well. There's Tom Brew from Sports Illustrated Indiana joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary on this Friday. We've got a little bit more coming up. We'll be back to close out the show when we get back here from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Back with all that right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Hi, this is A.J. Moye, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Was that your Bob Knight imitation?
Did you hear that? Yeah, I wouldn't take a piss.
I remember the old days of Bob Knight flushing the toilet while he was doing his radio show.
That's funny.
It was a riot.
That's hilarious.
I don't know.
What did he say?
He said we're on the air.
Yeah, that's nice.
I knew we were. You didn't do anything bad. We are on the air, bud.
Oh, yeah, we are back?
We are back.
Cool. Perfect. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, of course, coming to you from the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios on this Friday, December 6th. Indiana takes on Wisconsin tomorrow in basketball. With the women take on North Florida at home. If you're around, go check out the 14th ranked Indiana Hoosiers, as they will possibly be the highest ranked Big Ten team come next week after Maryland took a loss.
If you want to see them as the 14th ranked team, you better go. You better go tomorrow, because come Sunday they're not going to be ranked 14th anymore.
Nope, they're going to be 10 or better.
Be like 10 or better for sure. I agree.
Absolutely. Conference championships, big games tomorrow, man. First off, of course, Ohio State and Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium. You've already gone on record saying that they're going to win by 48. What'd you say? 48 points?
I said 29, but I mean that's just a goofy number for football. I mean they'll win by more than 3 touchdowns. That's easily. I mean that's me just being conservative.
I think they're going to win the game handily, but I'm thinking more like 2 touchdowns.
Why? Like what would
Wisconsin's not terrible. They have one of the best running backs in the country.
Yeah, and they're playing against Superman. That dude is scary. Chase Young's ridiculous.
Oh, well, yeah, he is.
He's ridiculous.
They'll run the other direction.
I've always kind of wondered what it would look like if LeBron had on a football uniform, and I think that's what it would look like. I think Chase Young's I think Chase Young is the Under Armour model in a football uniform. In live version. And I don't like Ohio State, so I have no reason to be a Ohio State homer, but they're just that good.
They're pretty good.
Oh my gosh. Don't say things that make you sound dumb. They're insanely good.
They are pretty good.
They're the second best team in the country. I mean, there's no.
I disagree with that. I think they're the best team in the country.
You think they're better than LSU?
Yes. I think the Big Ten is better than the SEC.
Oh my gosh. Man, just when our show starts to gain some credibility, you go and make a stupid statement.
I'm glad I don't have to do this. The other people are, but you're an SEC fan and a Mackey Arena fan. Have you noticed that?
I'm a fan of reality.
Oh, please.
I'm a fan of fact and reality. And the statement that you just made really makes me question your judgment.
Yeah. Keep questioning. Wake up in La La Land. And we'll certainly find out because those teams will probably be playing if they get through their first round games. Right now, Ohio State's sitting at number 1 in the college football playoff by the committee.
And
LSU number 2.
Yeah, they'll stay at number 1 because Georgia's going to beat LSU. So that'll move LSU to number 3 probably and leave Georgia at number 4. So Ohio State will play Georgia in the first round and Clemson and LSU, and then it'll set it up for an LSU Ohio State final.
I don't see the SEC. Yeah, I don't see the SEC getting 2 teams in.
If Georgia wins, they have to get 2 teams in. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, that's not a matter of
fact. It's a fact only because people are saying the SEC is this and saying it's that. Just like they were saying Alabama deserved to get in. Oh, Alabama deserves.
No one was saying Alabama.
Yeah, plenty of people were.
When?
First of all, they had them listed at number 4. Wrongly. Okay. They shouldn't have been there to begin with because they beaten no one and they had already got their ass beat by LSU. They were there only because Alabama was on their chest and they were shown to be a team that was not that good. They got beat again. So they're move them out. And the whole SEC, just because it's the SEC, does not make it great just because it is. No, the Big Ten is just as good, if not better. I mean, Ohio State, to me, is shown more. They have more power than what I've seen from LSU.
In your opinion, who's the second best team in the Big Ten?
Probably. I'm Penn State, maybe. Penn State's not that good. Penn State's not that good.
So give me 2 teams. Say Penn State or who? Penn State or Michigan? Is that who you'd say?
No, I'd have to go with Wisconsin because Ohio State beat Michigan like a drum.
So Penn State or Wisconsin. Alabama would beat either one of those teams by 3 touchdowns without even blinking. Yeah, with a backup quarterback.
Would they?
With a backup quarterback, they'd beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Because their name's Alabama.
Because they're better. That's a fact.
Is that right?
And we're talking about them. Georgia would beat them by
just like they were they were better than
by a million.
Just like they were better than Auburn.
Another SEC school you're talking about. You can't say the SEC is not better. I'm asking you. I'm not even trying to influence.
I don't think Alabama's that good. I didn't think they were that good to begin with, and they got beat.
That's not the
showing
question.
That they're not that good.
That's not the question.
That does not make the SEC good.
Please let me ask this question.
Oh no,
I'm asking you the question. I'm not trying to influence your opinion. If Penn State or Wisconsin or Michigan played Alabama, who would win?
Whoever played Alabama.
Really? You honestly believe that?
Yes, Alabama. They beat nobody, and they got beat twice because they're not that good.
Auburn? What about Auburn? If any of those
Auburn's
teams
okay.
Auburn's okay. If any of those teams played Auburn, who would win?
I think it would be a toss-up back and forth.
If any of those teams played Georgia, who would win?
I think it would be a toss-up back and forth. Just because their name is something does not mean that they're.
I'm not saying anything about their name.
But that's all that they have to go on.
That's all that who has to go on.
Especially with Alabama.
Forget Alabama then. Let's say Alabama's the 4th or 5th best team in the SEC. All you're doing is proving my point. You're sitting there saying that the second best team, in your opinion, in the Big Ten would be a toss-up game with 4 different SEC teams, and we're all admitting they lose LSU.
The other way too. That would go the other way around.
No, it wouldn't go the other way around.
Yes, it would.
So you're saying the 3rd or 4th best team in the Big? Who's the 3rd or 4th best team in the Big Ten? Let's say 4th or 5th.
Michigan.
Okay, so go beyond that because we're looped.
Penn State.
No, you said they were second or third.
No, well, okay, but they're one or the other. But if they're not one, they're the other. So
you take the second best team, the third best team, the fourth best team, the fifth best team in the Big Ten. You take all of those and you match them up with the SEC, and they would all get drummed.
Okay. Yeah, that's spoken like a true SEC.
I've lived in Indiana. I've been an Indiana supporter my entire life. I just have a sense of reality.
Oh,
and I mean, you're saying stuff that doesn't even make any sense.
Okay. Okay, Mr. George the Bulldog.
Go Dogs.
Well, the good thing is we'll get a chance to find out because a lot of these bowl games will be Big Ten SEC matchups. Some of these Power 6 games that we get to see, Power 5 conference. We'll get to see some of these matchups. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be, but it's just not the same. Those bowls, until they expand the bowl to 8, then we're going to get so many of these bowl games where the best players don't play.
I don't know that do you think they go to 8?
I think they should. I don't think there's any reason in the world that you can give that goes against doing that. It eliminates all this stuff. The bowls are going to become irrelevant, and the bowls are going to hurt themselves by it not going to 8 because players are going to continue to sit them out when it's not for the national championship. That's my opinion. I mean, I'm a basketball guy. I'm just telling you.
And I don't know that there's an argument this year for 8. I don't know that there are 8 teams that you think could win the national championship? Are there 6 teams that you think can beat LSU and Ohio State?
Well, it's like what Tom Bruce said a minute ago when you said, we're not going to know anything until we know who that 4th team is. And here's going to be the crazy part. So there's a big game tonight. So Oregon and Utah play tonight. If Utah wins, a lot of people are assuming Georgia's going to lose. So if Utah wins, a lot of people are saying Utah should slip into that 4th spot. If Oklahoma beats Baylor again, a lot of people are saying Oklahoma should jump them in the polls and they should be the 4th spot. If you've got 8, you don't need to worry about any of that. You literally
no, that's because that happens at the 8-9 spot then.
But it's a lot different. Like there's a lot less of a chance of an argument. Like what you just said a second ago, can the 5th ranked team in the country really win the national championship? I think you could probably make some arguments for that. Can the 9th ranked team really win the national championship? No. Yeah, they could argue that there's always going to be a bubble. We all know that. The NCAA has expanded basketball all the way out to 68. And there's always still teams that feel like they got chanced in being on the bubble and not getting in. There's always going to be a bubble. We get that. But I think the number 9 ranked team in the country stands much less of a chance of winning either of the games in the playoffs versus the number 5 ranked team. I think you've got a real discussion in Utah and Oklahoma as to who should be in that. Assuming they both win, you got a real discussion as to who should be in that spot. And you can make arguments depending on which conference you like better or who played a tougher schedule and all these things. If you've got 8, I don't see any reason why. I have yet to hear a reason why that wouldn't be good for football all the way around. It would eliminate a lot of these bowls having players sit them out for injury scare. Because if you got a chance to play for a national championship, you should play.
Reading a text on here that says you want UK in the Gator Bowl. Here's what needs to happen. They need Ohio State to beat Wisconsin and Utah to beat Oregon. That's from a UK thing. That would be – can you imagine getting Indiana and Kentucky in the Gator Bowl? Or
that'd be awesome.
Music City Bowl?
That'd be awesome. Those matchups would be great. The scary one that I saw was the Music City Bowl where it had Louisville and Tennessee because from a proximity standpoint, they could make a strong argument for that. So that'd be awesome if they took that and sent Indiana and Kentucky to the Gator Bowl. That'd be ideal world for Coyle and Leary.
Yes, that would be very fun. And if you're just joining us, is what I doubt you are, but Tom Allen signs a brand new 7-year, $27 million contract. Shakes out to $3.9 million a year. He is the highest paid employee at Indiana University.
Yes, he is. I mean, that part of it makes it sound kind of goofy, but when we knew his contract was going to be renegotiated, I mean, if we all sat down and tried to analyze a month ago what his salary would have been, this is probably still on the low end of where you would have guessed when you know.
Actually, not me. This is more than I thought that they would pony up.
But I'm saying I don't disagree with that. But when you look at the average salary of Big Ten coaches, I don't think we would have said it was going to be lower than this.
I would have, just because I know it's Indiana. I don't look at the Big Ten. I look at Indiana and how they do things. And I just thought it would be less, to be honest with you. I thought they would bump him up to like 3.2 at the most. But hey, it's
Tom Allen has made almost $1,000 during the duration of our show today.
He's probably made more than that.
No, I just did it. I just did the math. He's made $1,000 during the duration of our show today.
And he's done nothing.
We don't know that. He's probably recruiting his butt off.
I'm kidding. Easy.
He's done nothing for our show except for give us a great topic to talk about.
Absolutely. A very good topic. Congratulations to him.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Indiana football to be having this conversation right now. That's part of why he got that raise. The fact that we're having this conversation, that we're talking about on radio, the fact that Indiana's football coach just got a new contract. The fact that we're talking about them trying to keep Kalen DeBoer, keeping their football coaches. That's a conversation that rarely happens in regards to Indiana football, period.
Yep. No, there's no question about that. And you're right. I mean, it is, you make a great point that the timing of this is a huge recruiting time for football, in college football. And so the fact that this contract comes out right now and the length of it being 7 years, I mean, kids have no worry about, about whether the coaching staff that recruits them is going to be at Indiana University when they come here. So that's obviously some big factors that go into that. But congratulations to all the coaching staff.
Joker's sucking up. Todd, I agree with you with a lot of what you say, but when OSU plays LSU, the Tigers will be caged. Nobody will stop that OSU Coach Wilson-led offense.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you and I, Jim, have been saying for several months, all the way back to when LSU played Alabama, that LSU and Ohio State were the best two teams in the country, and that we all hope it gets down to the end. As football fans, forget the names on the chest. When you look at the teams, we've wanted to see Ohio State and LSU play for the national championship because I think they're the best two teams. And, so yeah, I'm in agreement with that. If Ohio State ends up winning that, I won't be disappointed in that. I don't have any tie to LSU whatsoever. Could care less. But I mean, I think we want to see it get to that game, and I think we want the national championship to come down to those two teams. But college football is like college basketball. I mean, you never know. They're going to have to win a game to get there. And man, it's not like they're going to be playing a team that's going to lay down.
Well, Clemson's going to have something to say about that as well. As
sure they are.
In the third spot. And who the fourth team is going to be. If things play out the way I think they'll play out, I think it's going to end up being Oklahoma in there. I don't know that they deserve to be in there anymore over Utah, but I think that's going to end up being Oklahoma. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think LSU is going to beat Georgia, and you're going to have Ohio State playing Clemson, and you're going to have LSU playing Oklahoma in the semis.
So saying Utah or Oklahoma, either one of those teams gets in there. I still believe that the team that has the most to prove in the Final Four is going to be Clemson, without a doubt, because we don't even discuss them or talk about them. All we've done, they're an undefeated team, and we don't even discuss them or talk about them because they literally might have just as well played in Class 6A football in the state of Indiana with the schedule that they've played this year, and nobody gives any credibility to that at all, including myself. I don't at all. But so to me, they're an insanely scary team. Whoever finishes in that 2 spot, that it's a big difference in whether you're going to end up playing, Clemson in that first game to get to the finals. It won't shock me if they come out and win that game because I honestly believe Clemson has the most to prove when it comes to the Final Four.
Well, I misspoke a minute ago, and actually that would be a LSU-Clemson matchup. And so that's who would be playing that game.
Yeah, first game, 2-3 would be That's why I think it's a huge deal for LSU to come out and blow Georgia out, and for Ohio State to have a close game with Wisconsin. Do you flip-flop them at that point? I think you do. I think these conference championships that's why these games tomorrow I think will be huge. That's why I think Ohio State will blow Wisconsin out, because I don't think if they win by 3 touchdowns, there's any way you can move Ohio State out of that number 1 spot.
So if Clemson beats LSU and it's Clemson Ohio State playing for a national championship, will you then acknowledge that the Big Ten was better than the SEC?
No, not better, not even remotely close.
So basically, it doesn't matter what happens on the field. You're going to stand by the SEC. Wait a minute. No matter what happens on the field, Ohio State gets through, wins the national championship. The SEC gets one team in, and then they get beaten the first game, but yet the SEC is better than the Big Ten.
You're not asking me if the best team in the Big Ten is better than the best team in the SEC. In that case, yes, I will admit that. But if you go down all the way down the list of teams, just because Ohio State wins the national championship does not mean all of a sudden that the Big Ten is better from top to bottom than the SEC. Those two things they don't correlate. It's not the same thing.
I agree, and I'm not saying that they definitely are, but I definitely am saying that there's no way you can say the SEC is. You can't say that either one is better than the other because they haven't played. And until they play, and because they play the weakest schedules. My God, look at Alabama's schedule. Look at how weak it is. They don't play anybody. And on top of that, they get 4 non-conference games, whereas Big Ten teams only get 3. So they get to pad their schedule with another big old juicy little buy a win. And their schedule is not nearly as difficult as the teams of the Big Ten. That's something else you need to take into consideration.
That is, I mean, what you just said is not factual. I mean, I hate to just try to start.
Factual.
Okay, so let's just say this. Outside the conference,
plays 8.
I'm just going to use Georgia as an example. Hang on a minute. Stop talking for a second. Georgia's out-of-conference schedule that they booked number 7 Notre Dame. So you can't say they just book anybody that isn't any good on their schedule to get another win. They booked number 7 Notre Dame. Why is Alabama your only reference?
Because that's the team that you have said deserved to be in the playoffs, number 1.
Hang on a minute.
That they were one of the best teams in the country when they've shown that they're not. They not only they've been beaten twice, they've beaten nobody on top of that.
Hold on a minute. You just put words in my mouth that I did not say. Alabama does not deserve to be in the college playoffs.
No, not now. You didn't say that now, but you said that a week ago.
I said 2 weeks ago. I said where the committee put them prior to the Auburn game was strategically placed because they knew there's no way that Alabama could finish in that position unless they beat everybody, unless they beat LSU, unless they beat Auburn, unless they beat all those other teams. And if they didn't win those games, it would shake itself out exactly like it's done. It has worked out exactly the way the committee thought it would work out and expected it to work out. And had Alabama won those games, had they beat LSU and had they beat Auburn, yes, we'd be talking about them right now. But they didn't, and they're not. And that's why, like, you're using Alabama as your representative for the whole SEC this year. And they're like the 4th or 5th best team. That's the crazy part. You're using them as the one team that could Penn State or Wisconsin or Minnesota or all these other teams beat Alabama. You wouldn't guarantee that. You don't know that. They got a backup quarterback, and you still wouldn't say that they could beat them. And they're the 4th or 5th best team in the SEC. That's all I'm saying. He does that every time I'm right. That's the equivalent of you saying, Todd, you're absolutely right. That's what I hear when you do that.
Hardly.
That's what I heard.
Hey, Jake, I guess there's no point in taking a break now, huh?
I blew right through that break.
That's good. I'm glad I didn't miss one. That was good, man. Hey, looking forward. Don't forget tomorrow after the game with Todd Leary, Indiana takes on Wisconsin up in Madison at 4:00. And we'll be at Yogi's, of course, afterwards for after the game with Todd Leary immediately following. You can catch that on Facebook Live or you can listen to it any place you catch a podcast as well. But make sure you share that out. Share the show for us as well, whether you catch it on Facebook or Twitter or Spotify or however, where you share it out for us. We appreciate you doing that. We appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the text we got today, man. Love people hitting up the text line. And again, you can do that at any time. We'll get back to you even after the show. Fire those things off. 812-269-6367. Man, it's been another fun week, man. Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're right all the time. I know it has sped by for me this week.
Gee whiz. It'd be so good when he's past this newness.
My humble nature has not kicked in quite yet.
No, it has not. No, it has not.
When you make statements that make me seem this much smarter than you, it just makes it's hard for me to contain myself. Hard for me to contain myself.
I was almost out. Make sure you join us tomorrow. And then, of course, the women, they're taking on North Florida at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall at 7 tomorrow night. So you can make a whole day of it.
They're not taking on North Florida. They're beating the pants off of North Florida tomorrow.
There you go. Well,
that won't be a game. That'll go early because you'll be able to leave at halftime because they will have that game waxed.
But I'm sure they'd like for you to stay for the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. I'm just saying, like you can go catch the second half of the Ohio State-Wisconsin debacle. Ohio State wins by 37.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to all of that coming up tomorrow. That's why I was distracted reading.
I know.
That stupid image popped back up of you crying, and it's cracking me up.
Is it when I was telling Don I loved him? Is it the "I love you, Don" cry?
It's actually just a drawing of. I'd have to send it to you. It's just silly. It's just funny.
Don't. I'm good.
Yeah, I figured. Hey, that's going to wrap it up, man. Another great week. We appreciate everybody joining us. Again, follow us tomorrow. We'll be after the game with Todd Leary as soon as Indiana wraps up, hopefully a road win at Wisconsin. See what they're doing. Then the women take on North Florida at Simon Scott Assembly Hall at 7. So you got all kinds of stuff you can watch tomorrow. And then, of course, Ohio State and Wisconsin in the Big Ten Championship tomorrow night. You've got the SEC Championship tomorrow. There's several other championships as well. And then we'll be bowl watching starting Sunday, man.
That'll be exciting. That'll be a fun topic on Monday. That'll dominate the discussion again.
Absolutely, because I know about where they're going to be, but there's no determining exactly where. I mean, I think that the Outback Bowl, that stuff, that's out. I think it's simply down to the Gator Bowl, the Music City Bowl, or quite possibly the Pinstripe Bowl. I don't know why that keeps coming up because I'll be honest with you. I looked through there. You've got Ohio State that's going to be in the college football playoff. But then you don't know if Penn State or Minnesota or Wisconsin is going to – one of those teams is going to go to the Rose Bowl. I'm thinking maybe not Wisconsin since they've probably been most recently. But if you throw Penn State in there, then that leaves Wisconsin and Minnesota for the Outback Bowl, for the Citrus Bowl. And so then you got Michigan and Iowa. Those are teams that you got somebody that's going to the Holiday Bowl. It could be a good place for Iowa. Michigan, I'm not sure where they're going to end up. So we'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different options. I mean, I think Tom Bruce made a great point that there's just these games this weekend. I mean, all the rankings make a big difference in where these teams are going to go. And the scary one is if they end up in that Pinstripe Bowl against Pitt. I've seen two predictions that have that, and that would not be an exciting bowl game, I don't think, for Indiana.
No, because they've been there for one thing. A couple years ago, 2015, they played in that, and a game that they got screwed out of against Duke. The kick was good. But I'd really like to see him play in a Florida Bowl for a couple reasons. Number one, because I'm being selfish. I want to go to Florida.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie about that.
Agree, and I want to see him play Tennessee or Kentucky. I want to see him play an SEC team. You can talk more about that. Like you can use that as a recruiting tool a lot more, in my opinion.
And it'll be good for the recruiting, but it would be good for the program to get to one of those next level bowls. I mean, Pinstripe Bowl, they've been there. So that's not a next level bowl. But
it's not a name bowl. You know, we gave Dustin, we laugh about Dustin using the term helmet teams. And, you know, those bowls, you know, the Outback Bowl, Gator Bowl. I mean, we've heard about those since we were little. Citrus Bowl, Orange Bowl. Those are recognizable name bowls. And the Pinstripe Bowl is, yes, they're all cool. And it's a big deal to get to go to them. But those big name bowls, Gator Bowl and Music City Bowl, would be a bigger deal.
Absolutely, and looking forward to finding out where we're going, man. Looking forward to being at Yogi's tomorrow, so look forward to that. So thanks a lot to everybody. Thanks to Tom Brew for being on today. Thanks for the Todd Father, as always. Jake for keeping us on the track. I'm Jim Coyle. Until tomorrow, I will see you on the radio.